friends, Erika Tesla here. If you are new, thank you so much for deciding to click on this video, and if you're returning, I'm so glad to have you back. Today I'm really excited to talk to you about a new release from Alter Ego. You have seen some sneak peeks on Instagram, and today they are supposed to be doing the reveal for a palette they have coming out on the 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that is the Mystique Pressed Powder palette. And this has such a fun color story, guys, and I'm gonna show you, and it's gonna remind you of something, and for good reason. But here is the Mystique palette. As you can see, I have dug into this palette, guys, and I used the palette for this look. I tried to kind of just make my way around. I probably used almost every color in this palette for this look, so I will be sharing with you guys my tutorial for this look. But I really was excited to see this come out because, if you could not tell already, this is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Circo Loco palette, which I do have. So here's Circo Loco. And as you can see, these palettes are practically the same. The only difference is the arrangement, and I actually have to say I prefer the arrangement of the Mystique palette to the Circo Loco because I think it just, the arrangement gives you a better idea of how to work with the colors. Natasha's palette, the shades are all over the place. Now, granted, if I wanted to, and I might actually do this now because I've been inspired, you can rearrange the Natasha Denona palette, because on the back here you have these holes and you can pop the shades out and rearrange them. And so because I have been inspired and I really like how Alter Ego has arranged their palette, I'll probably take some time to rearrange this at some point. But that being said, this palette, it comes with 15 gorgeous shades, and I know it says pressed powder, but a couple of the shades, Sky and Midnight, they're more like a putty formula, something that kind of reminds me of the Groundwork palette. Like, it's very much like that putty texture that you could use for like a base or a liner, even if you were interested in doing that. I have to say, like, the shades performed really, really beautifully. This palette retails for $22, guys, so it is a steal compared to the Circo Loco palette, which this is one of the larger ones. This is not a midi size palette. As you can see, it has the larger pans. So these palettes, the Natasha palettes, usually retail for $129. So if you missed out on Circo Loco, or it was just outside of your budget but you really wanted something colorful, this is such a great alternative. And for $22, I have to say it is incredible quality. Alter Ego had sent me a couple of their other palettes, their Dream Gaze and their Wildwood palettes, one of which I mentioned in a previous video because I took it to Australia with me, and I've been really impressed with the formula, particularly considering the price point. So it's a really beautiful color story. It's a lot of fun. So I want to go ahead and throw up some swatches for you guys while I talk about each column. So in the first column, we have these beautiful pink shades. We've got two mattes and a shimmer. The second column, again, we have one matte and two shimmers here, and this is like the orangey column. Then the third column, we have this beautiful kind of antique gold shade called Free and two purple shades. They look kind of blue in the pan, but they're actually purple. And then in the fourth row, I have this beautiful silver shade Aura and the shade Sky and Live, which have this very nice kind of aqua tone to them. And then in the final column, we have the shade Rare and the shade Macaw, which is this like a very vibrant blue. And then finally that putty shade Midnight in here, which is like a deep teal color. So these swatched really beautifully. They performed really beautifully on the eyes. And again, for the price point, for a 15 pan, $22 eyeshadow palette. I was really impressed with the swatching and the performance. So I wanted to show you guys a side-by-side comparison of this palette as well. So as you can see, I mean, this is actually a dupe. So yeah, I think Alter Ego is known for being a dupe brand. They have like exactly duped this, like with the exception of like just like I'm talking about like very nuanced differences. It's basically the same palette. I will say formula wise though, Natasha does have Alter Ego beat, and I would hope so for the price point. The shades in Natasha's palette are going to be a little bit richer, a little bit smoother, and more intense color payoff. However, I can't help but emphasize, for $22, if you wanted the same kind of vibe and you have the patience to kind of work with the colors and to you know, play around with them and build them up the way that you want to, you will get a really beautiful look. I'm actually very happy with the look that I came up with using this palette. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pop up the tutorial for you guys and then come back and then share my final thoughts with you guys on this palette. that was the tutorial. Hopefully you guys got a chance to get an idea of how fun this palette is. Obviously, this is for color lovers. So if you're looking for something more neutral, Alter Ego does have more neutral options, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably have many options in your collections. But if you were looking for something kind of different and fun and, you know, maybe low commitment versus paying $129 for a Natasha Denona palette with colors that honestly you might not wear that often. Like, I'll be honest with you, of my Natasha Denona palettes, I would say Circle Loco is probably one that I don't reach for quite that often. I haven't had the heart to let it go because it is such an incredible palette and I really enjoy the formula in that palette. But if I were someone that didn't already have this in my collection, didn't have the Natasha Denona palette in my collection, but I said, hey, you know, for the summer, I want some fun colors, I want something different and vibrant, this is an excellent option. It comes with the mirror in the palette. I mean, I would have to say, like, the artwork, the Mystique artwork, I think they did a nice job kind of repurposing it. So even though inside it's the same as the Natasha Denona here, obviously the exterior aesthetic is very different, which goes to show packaging can have a really major impact on, you know, how we select our products. And again, I'm a really big fan of how they arranged the shades in here. To me, it looks cohesive, it makes sense. You can look at this and decide the looks that you want to do. You could do a monochromatic look, or you can switch things up, and if you have some neutral shades, you could just use this as a companion palette as well. So thank you to Alter Ego for sharing this palette with me. I'm a big fan of it. Again, price point, the quality, and just how fun it is. I think it's just like a great palette. Do you need it? We don't need any of these things. We don't need any of these things. But if you are interested in it, I would say definitely go for it. I feel like it's a great palette for $22. And maybe while you're perusing the site, you might find some other things that you like as well. I've been pretty impressed. And I say that as someone who, I don't know that I would have purchased this had I not been on their PR. Like, it is a brand, I'll be very honest with you guys, that was under my radar, but the last couple of palettes that I've tried from them, I've genuinely enjoyed them, and would not mind, like, you know, springing the 22 bucks to like pick something like this up, especially for fun. So I love how my look turned out with this palette, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. So I would love to know your thoughts on this one in the comments down below. Please make sure to like this video if you enjoy content like this. Leave me a comment. I love it when you guys say hi. It's always good to like interact with you and chat with you. I really appreciate it. And if you would consider subscribing to my channel, I would really appreciate it. It would be so fantastic to have you join my little corner of the internet where we chat about makeup. I keep it chill over here. And yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for taking time out of your day to hang out. I appreciate you. I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.